Koscielny cancelling out Aguero's early header, and then the Argentine taking centre stage with 2 goals, one just before half-time and one into the second half. Just past the hour, Arsenal had fleeting opportunities to get back into it, but in truth, I think Rob was second best here.
Yeah, I think first half I thought there was a lot to encourage us. I thought we got behind the ball very well. We battled. I thought Torreira and Guendouzi were very good. I think second half was a bit of recession for Man City, in all honesty. I think the third goal killed it, and we never really looked likely at all of getting our way back into the game. Tough situation with Denis Suarez to come on as well, wasn't it? You know, not the ideal situation when you're making your debut. I don't think this is a game which will define whether we're in the top 4 or not. As you say, I think it'll be the game. The next 3 games will give us, if we win all 3 of those, that'll put the pressure back on the likes of Man United and Chelsea.
Yeah, many thanks to Rob. Many thanks to everyone tuning in. More from the Arsenal Nation gang next, of course. Bigger fish to fry in terms of key points in games, certainly. We've been beaten by the champions here as we hand you back to the boys at the Emirates. Full-time, Manchester City 3, Arsenal 1.
Yeah, thanks very much, Dan. Back here in the Arsenal Nation live studio, Perry Groves and Tim Z still with me. Disappointing result in the end, guys.
It was disappointing. Second half, if you're being perfectly honest, we didn't really lay a glove on. The third goal completely killed it. Yeah. But the pivotal goal was the second one just before half-time, because we were in it and were competitive up until that sort of half-hour period before half-time. And that Aguero's second goal, you go in, it changed everything at half-time. And when they get the third, even Man City just sort of eased off a little bit. You know, they weren't at 100%. So, yeah, I just think, yeah, it's just disappointing. Frustration in the first half, disappointing in the second half. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Timsy, what are your thoughts? Because it felt like we couldn't make an impact in that second half at all.
I think it took us a little bit too long to get started in anyway. I mean, we didn't really get out of second, third gear in the second half anyway, but I think it was quite clear after that first 5-10 minutes, we weren't, in the way we were playing and the players that were out there, we weren't going to get anything from the game. So possibly Unai could have brought on the players a bit earlier. You know, well, Ramsey and Suarez didn't do too much when they came on, but you never know, at that point in the game, maybe a bit earlier they would have warmed into the game a bit more. But I think we said that as well at half-time. They were going to target our right back position, and that's where the goal came from again. So yeah, obviously that was our weak point, and we didn't quite manage to rectify that from the first half. And obviously that, I mean, the second goal made it really, really hard, and the third goal just made it impossible. So
I think Leno's performance is worth mentioning, though, guys, because you know, although Arsenal may have lost the game 3-1, lots of people on social media having their say about Leno's performance. We can see here the game could have been 6-1 if it wasn't for Bernd Leno, top-class goalkeeper. Shouts to Bernd Leno, hell of a match to keep this at 3-1. Another one here, as much as Arsenal have been torn apart here, the performance of Bernd Leno has kept the scoreline down. Very sound keeper. So yeah, loads of people loving what he was doing today.
I think he played very, very well. And even like on the brief moments when we tried to play out, he made the right decision. He didn't try and be a bit too fancy on the ball at all. If he had to, he just hit it towards Aubameyang, like I said, let them deal with it. And then yeah, when he needed to, he made some really, really good saves, especially for Aguero, that one where saved it with his legs. Yeah, he played really, really well.
I think he went for a little confidence dip, didn't he? And then people looking at him thinking, is he the answer? And I sort of equated him to when, I'm not saying he's as good as David De Gea, but when David De Gea first came in, that he wasn't used to the physicality of the Premier League. And I think Leno sort of struggled with that a little bit. But today, as a goalkeeper, he didn't make a mistake, not one mistake. And he pulled off some decent saves. Again, one from Aguero where it got deflection, he tipped it with his left hand. So he was really solid. I know we got beat 3-1, but then you can still say I thought Koscielny was decent, and I thought the two midfield boys were. I thought Guendouzi was very, very good, and Torreira was good. So we've got. And by the way, this isn't like the Liverpool debacle where we were all over the place against Liverpool defensively. Today, we weren't all over the place. We could see there was a structure, even though I thought at half-time we should have gone 5 at the back, because even in the third goal, when the ball gets transferred to Raheem Sterling, Lichtsteiner can't get close enough to him. So then he stays 5-6 yards away, and Sterling just goes on the outside and crosses. Whereas if you're playing a 5, then he can get closer. Yeah. But you could see that they'd worked at the 4-4-2, being nice and compact, and showed a bit of fighting spirit in the first half. So this isn't the Liverpool debacle where we get completely hammered. This is where Man City are still a level above us. But if you go back to the game at the beginning of the season, we were more competitive in this game, for a period of time than what it was at home at the Emirates at the beginning, because we were nowhere near competitive in the first game.
Yeah.
It's funny, you just reminded me about that David De Gea situation when he first came to Manchester United, and lots of people saying he's a flop, he's never going to make it, and now look, so, it's hard to judge so early on, isn't it? Let's remember that. Right, speaking of judging earlier on, we're not going to do that right now, but our brand new signing, he did get some minutes on the pitch today, Denis Suarez. He came on at the same time as Aaron Ramsey, and it was interesting because people are picking up on the substance. We can just read these. Acosta saying, "Wow, Arsenal bringing on 2 Aaron Ramseys." Suarez and Ramsey coming on for Arsenal. Suarez looks like Ramsey's younger brother. Ramsey and Denis Suarez low-key look like twins. I think it's more than low-key. I think, they look
pretty obvious.
well alike. You said it, didn't you, Timsy?
Straight away, yeah. They were lining up. And I saw it before, obviously, with the interviews and stuff. And it's like, he does see some similarities. As soon as they were next to each other, they were identical.
So we got our own Bros, like when the screen is... And by the way, when we talk about lookalikes, what about Unai Emery's...
Well, no, this is not
Unai Emery's son. They can tweet in or email in if they don't think like Tim looks like Unai Emery's son.
If I put on a little Spanish, a little Basque accent, you never know. Yeah.
Explain.
He
looks a bit like him.
A bit Spanglish.
Enough of that. Don't blame me for today's loss, please.
And actually, you could see a little bit. You mentioned this, Perry, as well. Sticking with lookalikes, it's a little bit of Alexis Sanchez in Suarez as well. It's kind of like a Ramsey Sanchez.
Ramsey Sanchez, if you put their photo fits together, when you do like the eyes and them, then there's a little bit of a crossbreed going on there. Yeah. But to be fair to when you're coming on and your team is as far away from the opposition what they are, which we were when Suarez come on, it's very difficult to impose yourself. That you can't judge Denis Suarez on that at all.
Absolutely no judgment on that game, but hopefully in the next game we'll get to see him getting some more minutes, and we'll see. One thing I noticed, did you notice how big his shorts were?
No.
It looked like he's wearing basketball shorts,
really?
The massive kind of...
Charles back to the 1920s and 30s, wasn't it? Wizard of dribble.
Will should like some baggy shorts as well.
Right, before we go, because we've got Huddersfield next at the Emirates Stadium. Huddersfield away, because we've already played them here at the Emirates Stadium. Can Arsenal bounce back from this, and how do they go about bouncing back from
Well, the thing is, that was our last clean sheet away from home, wasn't it? Arsene Wenger's last game, because we haven't kept a clean sheet for, I think it's 20, it's 1 in 20 now, and that was that Huddersfield game. So, and Jan Seawort's gone there, they got a new manager, but if our attitude's right, let's be perfectly honest, Huddersfield shouldn't be getting it. And if you look at we're talking about our next 5 games, without, being disrespectful opposition, you should be winning your next 5 if your attitude's right. So we've got a good chance to put another little run again.
As I said, I think it was Danny in commentary said that whether we finish top 4 isn't going to be based off of this game. Obviously, it would have been amazing, and the fact that the other clubs that we're battling for top 4 against all won this weekend. This isn't going to make or break it. It's going to be the next 5 games. You want to put away the smaller teams and really battle with the other. I think it's only Spurs that we've got left really. Spurs and Man United. So those 2 games, that's when it will really count, because they'll be basically 6-pointers. That's when it will be decided.
For want of a cliched phrase, 6-pointers. Yeah, there you go.
It works even without the relegation.
I'm not knocking it. I'm not knocking it, Unai.
Emery Jr.
That's his new nickname on the show. Right. Before we get out of here, a few more of you are having your say on social media. The short few saying great games from Guendouzi, Torreira, Leno, and Monreal. Lacazette did good things too. Yeah, Lacazette holds the ball up so well. It's one of the things we were saying here in the studio. So good with his body. Fabio saying Leno, Koscielny, Guendouzi and Torreira. Clap, clap, clap. Lacazette worked hard as always. You mentioned it already, didn't you, Perry? There were some good performances that we saw in today's match. Yeah, you can, considering we weren't in it in the second half, individually, those 4 can go, I did all right today, I played quite well. And in the end, it's a team sport, but you've got to look after yourself and make sure you contribute. And those 4, they did. And as I said before, it wasn't a Liverpool debacle. So, we haven't been, I think it was 20 games before this, we hadn't won against a top 6 opposition away from home. I know it's 21 now, but we're on a transitional period where we've got to gradually ease closer to these top sides. So it's just, this isn't anger. The Liverpool game was anger. When you get beat, you get really angry, didn't you?
Yeah, of course,
This was one more of a, well, actually,
we didn't
lay a glove on the second half, but we were okay, like first half.
Yeah. Unai, what did you make?
Well,
here we go. Have a look on the screen.
There we go. Right, I need a few little ones like that, don't I?
There you go. That's it. You're done.
You go.
He's a young Unai Emery. He's just
today
Emery.
First half I was very happy with my team. But no, that second half it was tough to get back into the game, and but we just obviously got to move on. You know, we didn't do any disrespect to ourselves. You know, we put up a decent fight first half, got undone by some. The second goal was lovely. Like, we didn't track back, but equally it's really good play, and they just exploited our weakness on the day. So we just got to make sure we shore that up for Huddersfield. You know, Huddersfield, they're not. I mean, they got pumped by Chelsea, and they're not great. So we should beat them. Yeah. Whether we do is another question, but get back with another win, and then we'll go from there. Just one of those days. Right, before we let you guys go and say bye-bye, we just need to get a one-word sign-off from you both. Perry, we'll come to you first. One word to sum up today's game. Disappointing. Disappointing. Forgettable. Forgettable. Both good. Thank you, as always, for joining us here on Arsenal Nation Live. We'll see you back here on Saturday for that Huddersfield game. I'll be here as well. Hopefully we'll get 3 points then. Come on, you Arsenal.